Look, I tried to convince everyone to get a PlayStation, but god damn it, Jake keeps buying Xboxes. Hello my friends and welcome. For today's video, let's take another dive into Team Ninja's upcoming title, Wolong Fallen Dynasty. As it sits now, my hype for Wolong is steadily escalating. I found a recent interview that really delves into the game mechanics and how Wolong compares to the Nioh series Team Ninja's been dishing up. Starting off, Team Ninja explains how creating a character fits into Wolong. Making your own character and letting them take part in real historical battles and fight alongside famous warlords and military commanders was one of the biggest appeals in Nioh 2, and we wanted to keep that for Wolong Fallen Dynasty as well. As the game follows Chinese history as Nioh followed Japanese history, having a set protagonist helps promote any game, but characters like William in Nioh or Ryu Hayabusa in Ninja Gaiden do not talk that much during the games and do not contribute much to the story, so having a fixed character doesn't change too much in terms of storytelling. Here they talk story and how it's critical to draw you further into the game. The story will be important for the entire experience, as it will help players immerse themselves in the world we've created. Establishing military commanders and being able to fight together with them, or even against them as bosses, will also be very important. Wolong Fallen Dynasty's main focus is the action, but a certain level of immersion will make players feel more involved in these action elements. There's no denying, combat is a huge focus of the Nioh series. Team Ninja describes some of the combat mechanics and how they're being implemented in Wolong. Deflecting mechanics have always been important in the game, and one of the key elements that defines the experience, which gives players the freedom to choose when they want to be offensive and when they want to be defensive. The spirit gauge is another mechanic that regulates the flow of combat, letting players decide when it is the time to go all out or to be more defensive. All of these mechanics aim to give players not just this combat freedom, but also a feel for the Chinese martial arts. And we are happy when players notice this, as it means we're doing our job right. The Nioh games feature a loot system that was continually compared to Diablo. With Wolong, Team Ninja's decided to switch things up, cutting down on the sometimes overwhelming piles of loot. Here's what they had to say regarding the change. The Nioh series had a lot going on in it, and the main focus in the first game was on the samurai action, with many different abilities that the players had to think hard about how to utilize properly, and we built upon these features in the second game by adding yokai abilities. In Wolong Fallen Dynasty, we wanted to focus on mainly the action, so we made the game a little bit more streamlined, which also makes it a game that's easier to pick up and play. The game is also a new IP, so it made sense to start from square one. We want it to have its own identity and come with features that can differentiate it properly from the Nioh series. Wolong features levels much like Nioh, with mission objectives as directives to complete each segment. Team Ninja talks about the linear nature of these titles, and what the future will bring after Wolong. Wolong Fallen Dynasty is more open than the Nioh series, not only due to the addition of jumping mechanics, but also due to the game being set in China, as we wanted to give the players a feel of a much bigger location, with huge vistas, unique landscapes, and massive castles, which are all elements that strongly define China. The game is still mission-based like Nioh because we wanted players to focus on the action with as few distractions as possible. Even like this, players will have many reasons to explore stages, as reaching as many different flags as possible to take advantage of the morale system is quite important. So even if Wolong Fallen Dynasty isn't an open world game, players will still be able to do some exploring and get rewarded for it. As for the future, we are already developing a proper open world game with Rise of the Ronin, and its open world features will allow us to replicate what being a ninja is supposed to feel like. Wolong was available as a timed demo to survey players in regards to Wolong's gameplay mechanics, etc. Here they explain how this data will be used to improve the game leading up to launch. Before the demo's launch, we focused on the game's central mechanics, such as the morale system and the deflecting mechanics, and we felt we'd reached a good point with them. Health potions being a little too hard to use, or the deflecting timing feedback was somewhat anticipated, as we focused mostly on the central game mechanics, and left the fine-tuning for later, which we would have wanted to do for the demo, but ultimately couldn't. We believe we were able to make a fine demo to show these core mechanics, so from now until release, we will be focusing on tweaking and tuning elements highlighted in the survey, alongside other elements that the team noticed. I sadly missed the demo for Wolong. Immediately I began to wonder, will I get another chance to kick some ass before release? Team Ninja briefly touches on the prospect of an additional demo. We know that many Japanese players were unable to try out the Wolong demo, as it's still difficult to find PS5s and Xbox Series X and S, and we believe the situation is not that different in other countries, so we hear from a lot of fans that they wanted to try the game, but couldn't. We are currently considering offering players on other platforms a chance to try Wolong Fallen Dynasty before release, but there isn't much else we can say right now on that matter. Team Ninja outlines some of the support PC players should expect. Wolong Fallen Dynasty will come with mouse and keyboard support for PC, as well as NVIDIA DLSS support. At the time, however, we can't say if it will be available at launch, like for Nioh 2, or implemented later on with a patch, like for Strangers of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. One of the difficulties I've personally been facing with multiplayer is the lack of games that support cross-platform play. Look, I tried to convince everyone to get a PlayStation, but god damn it, Jake keeps buying Xboxes. This is what Team Ninja had to say about cross-platform support. Wolong Fallen Dynasty will support cross-generation multiplayer, allowing users on PS5 and PS4 or Xbox Series XS and Xbox One to play together. Cross-platform play between PlayStation and Xbox users will not be supported. With Rise of the Ronin and Wolong in development, some may wonder if we'll ever get another Nioh title. Team Ninja offers this to players seeking more Nioh games in the future. At this point, we really can't say. We know that a lot of players would like a new entry into the Nioh series, and we would definitely like to be able to develop another in the future. That's it for today's video. I gotta run, it's Taco Tuesday. Have fun, and stay safe, my friends.